Well, everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Love Lies Bleeding. And this is a new crime, thriller, mystery, bit of magical realism thrown in kind of film from writer-director Rose Glass, who previously did Saint Maud. And this film stars Kristen Stewart as Lou and Katie O'Brien as Jackie, two women who come together in a very passionate and fiery relationship, but are caught in the crosshairs with Lou's father, Ed Harris, who is a arms dealer and just a really horrible dude who winds up being Jackie's employer. And things go awry when people start dying. And this film is a dark and poignant and impactful film from a visual standpoint, similar to Saint Maud. You have Ben Fordsman, who's the cinematographer for this film, who really is able to capture some very provocative and poignant and affecting visuals. There's this looming motif of Ed Harris in this like red glow of light, and him just looking intimidating as hell, and where that actually comes into play and what it really means winds up being very impactful to the film. The visuals and this bit of magical realism, especially when it comes to Katie O'Brien's character, Jack, she's a big power lifter, and she's trying to get into this competition, and things go awry. And there's moments of, like, you see her muscles and her limbs growing, and you're like, is this really going on? Or is this just a representation of her reliance on steroids and drug abuse? And you have those different kinds of elements visually that are really impactful. This film is brutal. There is some very grotesque, like, practical effects to use for like a corpse at one point that you're just like, ugh. It really works, and it's very impressive. This story, you have two characters that are very complicated. They're not perfect by any means. They have layers and complexities to them. You have Kristen Stewart, who gives such a great performance in terms of, like, there's a vulnerability here. There's a reliance on, like, her smoking cigarettes, and you feel that kind of need there when she's not smoking. Like, you could feel, like, the tension of her really wanting to pick one up. She has this really toxic relationship with her father, and the more you find out about her past, the more you see, like, why there's such strong animosity there. And Stewart really brings that to the surface. There's a couple moments, especially with trying to process what happens with her sister Beth, played by Jenna Malone, who's married to Dave Franco's JJ, who's very abusive. You have Katie O'Brien, who gives such a fantastic manic performance. So much of her is like this big, smiling, happy person. And then you see, like, the steroids really pushing that anger to the surface. And you could just see it all over O'Brien's face, and the decisions from a physical standpoint just work so well. And their relationship is so passionate, and it's so authentic, and you really feel it. And their journey together in this film, and this film deals with abusive upbringings and horrible role models and addiction, dealing with Jack's character in terms of, like, her family shunned her, whether it was for her being this big muscular woman or being gay. And those kinds of themes. Deals with domestic abuse. It deals with so much trauma and layers to what this film's talking about. And the usage of magical realism to really capture this journey that, say, Jack goes on in particular, coming from, like, she feels so small, and she's made to feel small by people. And this film is a film about love and the complexities of it, and the ringer that you'll go through for loving somebody There's some elements that feel a little tacked on. There's a character, Daisy, who feels like she's maybe another bridge too far here. But you have this very satisfying, shocking journey. Certain things come completely out of nowhere, knock your socks off. This film is brutal. It is evocative. It's provocative. It's doing so many things. It's a fiery lesbian love story. It's this very interesting contemplation on trauma and abuse in so many different ways and with different people. The way that it deals visually and creates its atmosphere and blends genres. It pulls all these things together. Rose Glass is such a bold, impactful filmmaker. And coming off of St. Maud, this was something special. It is all high on fiery cylinders going. Clint Mansell's score is so affecting and impactful. It captures this late 80s, early 90s aesthetic so well. You really get lost in it. And there's artful and thought-provoking symbolism throughout the film that takes you to a different level. And only Glass can with her work with St. Maud and now with this. This film works on so many different levels. It's complex. It's engaging. It's thrilling. And it's unique and different. And it all works together to create such an awesome and impactful cinematic experience. Really hope that you check this out in a theater. But those are my thoughts on Love Lies Bleeding. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.